So we have this approximately $5 million budget challenge that the factors in the previous segment have brought upon us. And that's really a 2-year challenge that's affecting East Lansing, both in the current fiscal year, which ends June 30th of 2010, and in the fiscal year we're preparing a budget for now, which begins July 1st, 2010. So we haven't been sitting on our hands, twiddling our thumbs, praying for some miracle cure. We've actually been working hard to identify areas of the budget that we can cut, and we have eliminated from this year's budget about $2 million of planned budgeted expenditures. And what have we done? We have held positions vacant, notably positions in the police force and fire department. Unfortunately, that means fewer school safety officers. It means fewer officers on patrol. It means fewer firefighters in our stations on any given day. We have furloughed employees, not through mandatory means, but through a voluntary furlough program. We're proud of the way our employees have stepped forward to voluntarily take 5 days off. But there's been an impact. The library's been closed 5 days. Senior programs have been closed 5 days, but we've saved $140,000 as a result of these furloughs and the collaborative spirit of our employees. Unfortunately, we've had to suspend our sidewalk repair program. We've had to suspend even the replacement of necessary equipment, necessary fleet, necessary computer equipment. That, coupled with other reductions throughout the budget, have saved $2 million, and the City Council will be adopting an amended budget here in the next few weeks to reflect that $2 million reduction. So what we're left with is a $3 million budget hole to fill in the coming year. And it's a challenge, of course, to, given all the reductions that we have implemented over the past 10 or 15 years, and I at least want to spend a minute on the kinds of things that we've done over the course of those 15 years. And, there's a slide here that indicates some of those things. We have eliminated health care for employees at retirement, for people who've come on board with the city over the past 15 years, phased that in. And there's an exception to that, and that's police and fire officers. We've eliminated standard traditional retirement programs for new employees, and now new employees, again with the exception of police and fire employees, are in 401k type programs. We've done a lot of consolidation. We've eliminated a lot of positions. We've used part-time positions instead of full-time positions. We have reformed health care even for active employees to achieve health care cost increases that are at or below the rate of general inflation, not the rate of healthcare inflation. It's been about a third of the rate of healthcare inflation. So lots of other small cuts, changes in how we use telephones. We're saving significant amounts of money and changed arrangements with AT&T about telephone service. There's just not been an area of the budget that we haven't found ways to reduce expenditures in. Still, the forces of the state economy have been relentless. And we find ourselves now in the worst shape we have been in, with the most pressing challenge that we've been in my entire 15 years here. And I don't think there's been a worse time in the history of East Lansing. So we're asking residents to help us decide where we should make these adjustments. There are essentially 3 ways for us to fill this budget hole. We could make more cuts, though I think it would be impossible for us to make cuts and not have those reductions in service be felt by East Lansing residents. We could ask East Lansing residents to replace some of the lost property taxes that we've experienced over the past year, and that's about a $500,000 loss. So we could ask residents to replace that with a slight adjustment to the millage rate. And we can use our rainy day fund. And we have been prudent in assembling a rainy day fund. It's not exorbitant. The council has a policy of a rainy day fund between 8 and 15%. And this next chart I'll show you illustrates where we are with respect to that. This chart shows the level of expenditures, and in blue rather, and in purple, or perhaps magenta, shows our level of reserves. And you can see that expenditures grew gradually through about 2007, and we have seen reductions since 2007, and I think you'll see a budget proposed next year that will also reduce expenditures. And reserves have remained relatively constant. And so we're at about 8%, a little above 8% now. So we could use some of our reserves and still leave some in the bank for more rainy days. And I think the prudent person, given what we've experienced about the Michigan economy, would want to have a rainy day fund, because there are perhaps some positive signs in the local economy, but I think many of us fear there'll be more rain to come, and we will need those cushions to deal with problems in the future. So, $3 million hole left to fill: use reserves, replace lost property tax revenue, or make more cuts. And we're asking people to attend meetings of their neighborhood association. They can go online. We've got a survey online, and the website is, of course, the City of East Lansing's website. That's www.cityofelastlansing.com. On that website, you can see all of the information that we've shared with you during these presentations. In even greater detail, we'll have there's a lengthy, I think 6 or 7 page dissertation on the cuts that have been implemented over the past decade. I think you'll find our efforts impressive in that regard. And you'll be able to take a survey to let us know where you think we should be looking at in terms of how to solve this problem. So we have great confidence that with the engaged, involved, educated nature of the citizenry in East Lansing, that you will help us and the City Council arrive at the right set of recommendations. So we're using these next 60 to 90 days to educate the community about these challenges that we face, the options that are available to the City Council to address those challenges, and we're hopeful that with your input, we'll come to the right set of conclusions. So again, I appreciate the time that you've spent with us studying this important critical issue, and we look forward to receiving your input in the days and weeks ahead.